And today I'm going to be telling you about the pattern count function. This is a function that can be useful in a lot of different situations, and as the name implies, it basically just searches some text for the number of times a certain pattern occurs. So, one way that is often used is to validate a field. So you check a user's input of a field and see if it has or doesn't have some particular string. So in this case, let's say we want to search the website field. We would say pattern count, and then the text that's being searched, in this case the company website, and then the text that you're looking for, in this case http:////. As you can see, the result is 1. It occurs one time in there, which, as you can see, it does. Whereas if it was something like this, now it doesn't occur at all, and usually it doesn't occur. One thing you could do is say if this occurs more than once, then that's an error. Or if there's some text you don't want in a field, you say if the pattern count is greater than 0, then you would give them an error. Another thing that could be useful is searching how many times something occurs rather than just if it's there or not. So let's say you wanted to search the names of everyone at a company to see how often a particular name occurs. We would start off by just grabbing the names. In this case, you would say let people equal and use the list function to get all of the first names, and this is what we get. And then let's say you said pattern count people Milton. There's one Milton at this company. However, one thing to be aware is if you said Robert, it says there's 2 people at this company, but if you look at the list, there's actually only one Robert, but there's also one Roberta. Likewise, if you were to put Rob, you now have 3 because Robert, Rob, and Roberta all have the characters ROB in them. So it doesn't look for a word, it looks for a string of characters anywhere in any word. Now, one way around this, if you are using the list function, for instance, if you have a list of values and you wanted to know if there's a specific value, you could add a return character at the start and the end. And what that gives us is now this list has a blank line here and a blank line at the bottom. So if we change this search to say, I'm looking for Rob with the return character before and after. Or another way, if this is more clear for you, is to say it like this. This is the exact string that you're looking for. And you can see now we know there's one Rob at the company. And the last thing to be aware of with this is that it is not case sensitive. So in other words, if you're searching a string like this, where it says Paul, 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 but it has different capitals, different places, and you only want to find a properly formatted one where it's a capital P and everything else is lowercase, this doesn't work by default because it's looking for those characters upper or lowercase. It'd be nice if they gave you the option to select whether you want it case sensitive or not, but that's not an option with this. One workaround, if you really wanted to use it this way, would be you would use the substitute function first because that is case sensitive. So you would set the words to be what we had originally, but then you would substitute out the case sensitive version you want with that same thing, only with some additional characters that you're not likely to see around that word. And then down here, when you're doing the pattern count, you look for that exact thing with those extra characters, because you're not going to find those characters. You're going to find 3 pound signs after a name anywhere in most documents. So now you know that it only occurs one time. It's kind of a hassle, but it does work. And that is the pattern count function. I hope that's been useful for